Sarah Mitchell sat on the floor of her studio, surrounded by moving boxes she couldn't afford to fill with anything worth keeping. 29 years old, and this was what her life had amounted to. 3 garbage bags of clothes, a futon that sagged in the middle, and her grandmother's dresser. The dresser. God, that dresser. It stood against the far wall like an accusation, all dark wood and tarnished brass handles, taking up space she didn't have in a life already too small. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the story, hit the subscribe button and clears throat. Let us know in the comments from where in the world you are watching from today. Her ex-husband, Marcus, had laughed at it during their brief marriage. Her mother had begged her to leave it behind. When she moved out at 19, her sister, Jessica, sleek and successful in her downtown condo, had offered to pay for a dumpster just to get rid of it. Sarah, it's hideous, Jessica had said last week, wrinkling her nose at the ornate carved flowers on the drawers. And it smells like mothballs. Why are you dragging that thing from apartment to apartment? It's not even antique. It's just old, because Grandma Rose gave it to me. Sarah had wanted to say, because when everyone else gave up on me, she didn't, but she'd said nothing. Just smiled. That tired smile that had become her default expression, and changed the subject. Now, sitting in the wreckage of her 3rd eviction in 2 years, Sarah stared at the dresser and wondered if Jessica was right. Maybe she should just let it go. God knew she needed to let go of a lot of things. Her phone buzzed. Another text from her landlord. Final notice. 3 days to vacate, or he'd put her belongings on the street. Sarah's hands shook as she set the phone down. She'd been here before, too many times. The cycle was always the same. Work 2 jobs, fall behind on bills anyway. Get evicted, start over somewhere cheaper, and worse. The jobs themselves were honest work. Morning shift at the bakery on 5th Street. Kneading dough while the city still slept. Afternoon and evening at Marion's diner, serving coffee to people who looked through her like she was invisible. Between both jobs, she cleared maybe $200 to $100 a month. Rent alone was $15,400. Add utilities, food, the bus pass she needed to get to work. And the math never worked. It just never worked. A knock at the door made her jump. She knew that knock. Heavy, impatient. Kevin, the landlord's son, who enjoyed delivering bad news a little too much. Sarah, I know you're in there. She opened the door a crack. Kevin stood in the hallway, arms crossed, smirking. Still living with his parents, and somehow looked down on her like she was the failure. 3 days, he said. Dad's serious this time. You're out Friday. One way or another, I'm working on it, Sarah said, hating how small her voice sounded. You're always working on it. His eyes drifted past her to the dresser. You know, if you sold that ugly thing, you might actually make rent. There's a vintage store on Maple that takes junk furniture. Something hot flashed through Sarah's chest. It's not junk. Could have fooled me. Kevin shrugged. Anyway, Friday. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. He left. Sarah closed the door and leaned against it, eyes burning with tears. She refused to let fall. She'd cried enough. Crying changed nothing. She walked to the dresser and ran her hand across the top, feeling the worn wood beneath her palm. The surface was scratched from decades of use. The finish faded and uneven. But the craftsmanship was solid. You could tell someone had built this with care, with attention to detail most modern furniture lacked. Grandma Rose had given it to her on her 16th birthday. Sarah remembered that day clearly. They'd been sitting in Rose's tiny house, the one she'd lived in for 40 years after Grandpa died. Rose had taken Sarah's hands in hers. Those hands that were always soft despite years of hard work. And said something Sarah never forgot. This dresser has been in our family since I was your age. It's not fancy, and it's not worth much money, but it held my dreams when I was young and scared. It held your mother's things when she was a girl, though she never appreciated it. And now, because I think you understand something most people don't. What's that, Grandma? That the most valuable things aren't always the ones that shine. Sarah had treasured the dresser ever since through high school, through the disaster of her marriage to Marcus, through every move and setback and disappointment. The dresser had been her constant, the one thing that was truly hers. But now, standing in this cramped studio with eviction looming, Sarah wondered if holding on to it was just stubbornness. Maybe it was time to let go. Time to be practical. Her shift at the bakery started in 6 hours. She should sleep. Instead, she opened the top drawer of the dresser, looking at the meager contents. A few old t-shirts, some photographs, a jewelry box containing costume pieces that had belonged to Rose. Nothing valuable, but pretty enough. She moved to the second drawer. More clothes. The third drawer stuck as it always did. Sarah had to jiggle it, pulling at an angle to get it to slide. She'd been meaning to fix it for years, but never got around to it. The fourth drawer was empty, except for some tissue paper. Rose had lined it with decades ago. Sarah ran her fingers along the bottom, feeling the slight warp in the wood. She'd always assumed it was just age, just the dresser settling. But tonight, tired and desperate, and done with holding things together, Sarah pressed down harder on the warped section. Something clicked. Sarah froze. That wasn't the sound of old wood creaking. That was mechanical, deliberate. She pressed again. Another click. And then, impossibly, the bottom of the drawer shifted, not broke, shifted like it was designed to move. Her heart hammering, Sarah pulled the drawer completely out and set it on the floor. She knelt down and looked into the empty cavity. The light from her ceiling lamp barely penetrated the darkness, but she could make out something. A seam in the wood where there shouldn't be one. Sarah reached for her phone and turned on the flashlight. The narrow beam revealed what she'd missed for 13 years. The bottom of the fourth drawer was actually a false bottom, sitting about 3 in above the real base, and along one edge, barely visible, was a tiny brass catch. Sarah's fingers trembled as she pressed it. The false bottom sprang up slightly, revealing a hidden compartment beneath. Inside was a leather portfolio, the kind lawyers used to carry important documents. It was pristine, carefully preserved, wrapped in what looked like acid-free tissue paper. Sarah lifted it out with shaking hands. The leather was soft, expensive, not the kind of thing her grandmother could have afforded, not the kind of thing that should be hidden in a dresser everyone called worthless. She carried the portfolio to a futon and sat down, her breath coming in short gasps. For a long moment, she just held it, afraid to open it, afraid of what it might mean, afraid of what it might not mean. Finally, she unzipped it. Inside were documents, dozens of them. Stock certificates printed on thick paper with ornate borders. Sarah didn't know much about investing, but even she recognized some of the company names. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. The certificates were dated 1097, 1998, 2001, $18 per share. 500 shares of Amazon purchased in 1998 at $85 per share. 750 shares of Microsoft purchased in 2001 at $27 per share. Sarah's hands shook so badly she almost dropped the portfolio. If you find this story engaging, please, it helps us continue producing in-depth content like this. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be real. Because if it was real, if these stocks were legitimate and properly transferred and actually owned by her grandmother, her phone was in her hand before she consciously decided to pick it up. She typed frantically. Apple's stock price $178.72 per share, 1,000 shares. That was Sarah's mind could barely process the math. 178,720. Amazon current price $127.74 per share. 500 shares, $63,870. Microsoft $378. 91,750 shares, $284,182. Sarah's vision blurred. That was just 3 of the certificates. There were more, so many more. And beneath the stock certificates, she found something else. Bearer bonds. She didn't know much about them, but she knew what bearer bond meant. Whoever held them owned them. No names, no registration, just possession. Each bond was for $100,000. And there were 30 of them, $3 million in bonds, just sitting in the dresser, sitting there while she worked herself to exhaustion, sitting there while she got evicted, went hungry, wore shoes with holes in the soles. Sarah's breath came in gasps. This wasn't happening. This was a dream or a mistake, or some kind of cruel joke, but the documents felt real. The weight of them was real. And at the bottom of the portfolio, tucked into a small envelope, was a letter in her grandmother's handwriting. Sarah, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And you found what I've been hiding all these years. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you while I was alive. I tried so many times, but the words never came. Fear has a way of keeping secrets locked up tight. This dresser has been in our family for 3 generations, but I'm the one who modified it. I built the hidden compartment in 1987. After your grandfather died, everyone thought I was poor. Everyone thought I was struggling to get by on his meager life insurance. They weren't entirely wrong. I did struggle, but I also had something they didn't know about. Your grandfather and I invested in the stock market in the 1,960 seconds. Not much, just small amounts we could scrape together. We believed in American business, in the future, in the idea that ordinary people could build something if they were patient enough. Most of our investments went nowhere. We lost more than we made for 30 years. But in the 1,990 seconds, when I was already in my 60s, and everyone thought I was too old to understand, I saw these new technology companies, and I remembered what it felt like to believe in the future. So I took what little I had, about $30,000 from your grandfather's life insurance, and I invested it. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and others. Your mother screamed at me that I was throwing away my security. Your aunt stopped speaking to me entirely. But I didn't touch those investments. I just let them grow. And grow they did. By 2010, my little $30,000 had become more than $20 million. Sarah stopped reading. Her vision went white at the edges. $20 million. Her grandmother had been a multi-millionaire, and no one knew she'd lived in that tiny house. Shopped at thrift stores, clipped coupons, and quietly sat on a fortune. The letter continued. I know what you're thinking, Sarah. Why didn't I use it? Why did I live so small when I could have lived large? The answer is complicated, and it probably won't make sense to you. But when you have money, people change. I saw it happen with your grandfather's brother when he inherited money from a distant relative. Suddenly, everyone wanted something from him. His children only called when they needed cash. His wife spent everything on things they didn't need. Within 5 years, the money was gone, and so were most of his relationships. I didn't want that. I wanted to live my life on my own terms. I wanted to know that people loved me for who I was, not for what I had. And I wanted to make sure that when I passed this wealth on, it went to someone who understood its real value. Not your mother, who would have spent it all trying to impress people who don't matter. Not your aunt, who would have hoarded it and become bitter, protecting it. And certainly not Jessica, who would have seen it as proof that she was always meant for better things. You, Sarah. I'm giving it to you because you're the only one who knows what it means to struggle. The only one who won't take it for granted. The only one who understands that money isn't the same as worth. I've watched you from the start. Watched you marry that awful man because you're pregnant. You were pregnant and thought it was the right thing to do. Watched you leave him with nothing but your dignity and that baby in your arms. Watched you lose the baby and nearly lose yourself. Sarah's breath caught. Emma, her grandmother, had known about Emma. Sarah had been 22 when she got pregnant. Marcus had been thrilled at first, but his enthusiasm faded as the reality set in. By her second trimester, he was staying out late, coming home drunk, spending money they didn't have on poker games, with friends who encouraged his worst impulses. She'd left him when she was 7 months pregnant, moved into a shelter, started working at the bakery, started building a life for herself and the baby she was going to name Emma. And then at 37 weeks, Emma's heart stopped. No warning, no explanation. Just there one day and gone the next. The doctors called it stillbirth and acted like that word explained anything. Like it covered the weight of carrying your dead child until labor came. Like it described the sound of silence when you deliver a baby who'll never cry. Sarah had fallen apart. She'd taken the bereavement leave. The bakery offered 3 days. As if grief had a timeline and then went back to work because the bills didn't stop coming just because your world had ended. Grandma Rose had been there through all of it. She'd sit with Sarah in the evenings, not saying much, just being present. And when Sarah finally moved into her first apartment after the shelter, Rose had given her the dresser. For when you're ready to fill it with a new life, Rose had said, not forgetting Emma. Never forgetting, but making room for whatever comes next. Sarah wiped her eyes and kept reading. I watched you survive what should have broken you, and I knew you were strong enough to handle this gift. But build yourself first. You needed to know who you when you had nothing. Because once you have everything, that knowledge is what keeps you from losing yourself. So I hid it in the dresser. I knew you'd never sell it, never abandon it, no matter how practical people told you to be. I knew you'd carry it with you until the day you were ready to look deeper, until the day you'd be desperate enough or curious enough, or maybe just tired enough to find what I left for you. The stocks are yours, the bonds are yours. Everything I built from that original $30,000 investment is yours. I've left instructions in a sealed envelope with my attorney, Martin Brennan, at Brennan and Associates on Oak Street. He has a death letter that releases everything to you. The stocks are in trust under your name. The bonds are bearer bonds. Whoever has them owns them. Guard them carefully. There's probably close to $110 million now, give or take what the market's done since I wrote this. And Sarah, please use it to build the life you deserve, not the life others think you should have. Don't tell your mother or Jessica until you're ready. They'll have opinions. They'll have demands. They'll feel entitled. Without them, I love you, my sweet girl. I always have. And I'm sorry I couldn't tell you in person. But some gifts are better discovered than given. Be brave. Be smart. And remember, the most valuable things aren't always the ones that shine. All my love, Grandma Rose. Sarah read the letter 3 times. Then she carefully folded it, placed it back in the envelope, and set the entire portfolio aside. Then she lay down on her futon and stared at the ceiling. $110 million. She'd been sleeping on a furniture with $110 million hidden inside while working 2 jobs that barely paid her bills. She'd been evicted 3 times in 2 years while sitting on enough money to buy the entire building. Her grandmother had been a secret multimillionaire living in a tiny house, shopping at thrift stores, and no one had known. The absurdity of it hit her all at once. Sarah started laughing, not the happy kind of laughter, but the kind that comes when reality breaks and you're not sure how to process what you're feeling. She laughed until she cried, until she couldn't breathe, until the laughter turned into sobs that shook her entire body. Emma. She thought about Emma. About the medical bills she couldn't pay. About how she'd had to set up a payment plan with the hospital for a baby who never got to come home. About how she'd worked double shifts for 2 years just to clear that debt. She could have helped Emma. No, that wasn't fair. Emma had died because sometimes babies die not because of money, but the aftermath, the grief, the struggle. All of it could have been different if Rose had just told her. But would it have been better? Sarah didn't know. Maybe Rose was right. Maybe she'd needed to build herself first. Maybe if she'd had access to millions at 22, she'd have made different choices, worse choices. Eventually, the tears stopped. Sarah sat up, wiped her face, and looked at the dresser with new eyes. Not an old piece of furniture anymore. A vault. Buzzed. From Jessica. Seriously? Maybe it's time to admit you're not cut out for living on your own. Come stay with me for a while. I'll help you get on your feet. Sarah stared at the text. Jessica, who'd spent the last decade treating Sarah like a charity case, who'd offered help that always came with conditions and lectures, who rolled her eyes every time Sarah showed up to dinners in her bakery uniform because she had to work afterward. Jessica, who was about to have the shock of her life. But not yet. Rose's letter had been clear. Don't tell your mother or Jessica until you're ready. Sarah wasn't ready. She needed to think, needed to understand what she had and what it meant. Needed to figure out her next steps without the chaos of her family's reactions clouding everything. She texted back, "I've got it handled. Thanks, though." Jessica's response was immediate. "Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, it doesn't look like it. That dresser is still sitting in your apartment. Isn't it, Sarah? You have to let go of things that hold you back." Sarah smiled. "The dresser stays. It's the one thing I'm not letting go. You're impossible. Yeah, I am. Sarah set her phone aside and opened her laptop. She hadn't used it in weeks. Internet was a luxury she'd canned to save money. But her neighbor's Wi-Fi was unsecured, and she needed to do research. Martin Brennan, attorney at law. She found his office easily. Brennan and Associates, Oak Street. According to his website, he specialized in estate planning and trust management. His photo showed a man in his 60s, with kind eyes and graying hair. She drafted an email. Mr. Brennan, my name is Sarah Mitchell, granddaughter of Rose Mitchell. She passed away 18 months ago. I recently discovered a letter she left for me, indicating that you hold additional documents related to her estate. Best regards, Sarah Mitchell. She included her phone number and hit send before she could second guess herself. The clock read 2:47 a.m. Sarah's shift at the bakery started at 5. She should sleep, but her mind was racing. Instead, she started researching stock certificates and bearer bonds, how to verify them, how to cash them, what tax implications she'd face. The research was overwhelming. Terms like transfer agent and street name and documentary stamp tax swam together. Sarah's head pounded. She closed the laptop and looked at the portfolio again. Really looked at it. Her grandmother had carried this secret for decades, had died with it still hidden. And now Sarah held in her hands enough money to change everything. The smart thing would be to secure it, lock it up somewhere safe. But where? She didn't have a safe deposit box. Didn't have anywhere secure except this apartment she was being evicted from. In 3 days, Sarah opened the dresser's 4th drawer again, studying the hidden compartment. Rose had designed it well. Unless you knew exactly where to press, you'd never find it. And Sarah had owned this dresser for 13 years without discovering it. She placed the portfolio back in its hiding spot, closed the false bottom, and replaced the drawer. Would see just an old piece of furniture. Hideous, Jessica would say. Worthless. Kevin had said, if they only knew. Sarah finally crawled into bed around 4 a.m. She had to be up in 45 minutes, but she closed her eyes anyway. She didn't expect to sleep. Instead, she lay in the dark and thought about her grandmother, about Rose, living small while sitting on a fortune, about patience and tests and gifts, with conditions you didn't know you were meeting, about the life she was about to build, whatever that looked like. When her alarm went off at 4:45, Sarah rose feeling like she hadn't slept in days, which was accurate. But she got dressed, pulled her hair into a ponytail, and walked to the bakery. Through pre-dawn darkness like she'd done 1,000 times before. This time, though, everything was different. She looked at the same streets, the same buildings, the same early morning bus route, and saw them with new eyes. She didn't have to do this. didn't have to knead dough in a hot kitchen for $12 an hour. Didn't have to serve coffee to people who barely acknowledged her existence. But she did it anyway. Because until she verified what was in that portfolio, until she spoke to Martin Brennan and understood what she actually had, this was still her life, and Rose's letter echoed in her mind. You needed to know who you were when you had nothing. Sarah knew she was someone who showed up. Someone who kept going up. Would have been easier. Someone who'd survived loss and poverty and everyone's low expectations, and still managed to be kind. Still managed to not become bitter. That was worth something. Maybe more than $110 million. The bakery kitchen was already warm when she arrived. Her co-worker Thomas looked up from the mixing station and grinned.
Late night?
You look different. Something happened. Sarah tied on her apron and started pulling ingredients for the morning's cuisance. Just tired. But Thomas was right. Something was different. Sarah could feel it in how she stood, how she moved. There was a weight that had lifted or maybe settled. She wasn't sure which. Her phone buzzed around 7:30 a.m. right as the first batch of cuisinants came out of the oven. An email from Martin Brennan. Miss Mitchell, I've been expecting to hear from you. Rose left explicit instructions that I was to meet with you once you contacted me, but that I was not to reach out first. She insisted you had to find what she left on your own terms in your own time. I have significant documents to discuss with you. Can you come to my office today? I understand you work retail hours, so I'm happy to stay late. This matter is time sensitive. Please call my direct line to schedule. Martin Brennan, time sensitive. Sarah's stomach clenched. She waited until her break at 9:09, then called the number he'd provided. Martin Brennan. His voice was warm, professional. Mr. Brennan, this is Sarah Mitchell. I got your email, Sarah. I'm so glad you called. Can you come in today? I work until 2, then I have another shift at 5. Come at 2:30. I'll clear my schedule. Sarah agreed and hung up. Her hands were shaking again. Time sensitive. What did that mean? Was there a deadline? A problem? The rest of her shift crawled by. Thomas kept asking if she was okay. The manager, Patricia, commented that she seemed distracted. Sarah apologized and tried to focus, but her mind kept drifting to that portfolio, to those stock certificates, to her grandmother's letter. At 2, she clocked out and took the bus across town to Oak Street. Brennan and Associates occupied the 3rd floor of a historic building downtown. The lobby was elegant, but understated dark wood leather chairs. The kind of place that whispered money without us shouting it. The receptionist smiled warmly. You must be Sarah. Mr. Brennan is expecting you. Go right in. Martin Brennan stood as she entered his office. He was tall, maybe 6'2", with that website photo, not quite capturing how kind his eyes actually were. "Sarah, thank you for coming." They shook hands and sat. Martin pulled out a file so thick it could have been a manuscript. "Your grandmother was one of the most remarkable clients I've ever had, and I've been practicing law for 37 years. She never told me she had a lawyer. She never told anyone much of anything, I suspect." He opened the file. "Rose came to me in 1987, right after your grandfather died. She just made her first significant stock purchase and wanted to make sure everything was protected. Over the years, we built a rather complex estate structure: trusts, investment accounts, tax strategies. Rose was brilliant with money, but she insisted on keeping it secret from everyone, including you, until now. Why?" Martin smiled sadly. "Because she wanted you to choose your own path. She worried that if you knew about the money when you were younger, you'd make different decisions. Maybe marry someone you shouldn't. Maybe give up on your dreams. Maybe become someone you weren't meant to be." He paused. "She also worried your family would pressure you to share, to give them pieces of something they hadn't earned." Sarah thought about Jessica, about her mother, about every family gathering where they'd looked at her with pity and disappointment. She was probably right. The portfolio you found, that's just the beginning. Rose maintained those physical stock certificates and bonds as a sort of test. If you found them, she knew you'd been desperate enough to look deeper, curious enough to discover what others missed, and resilient enough to have kept that dresser, despite everyone telling you to get rid of it. What do you mean? Just the beginning. Martin pulled out more documents. The stocks in that portfolio are real and valuable, but they're actually just copies. The real certificates, along with most of Rose's assets, have been held in trust for you since 2015. The trust is structured so that it activated upon her death with a 2-year waiting period to allow you to mature and stabilize your life. 2 years. She died 18 months ago, which means in 6 months on the second anniversary of her death. Until then, the trust is managed by myself and 2 other trustees. We can release emergency funds if needed, but the bulk remains protected. Sarah's head spun. How much is everything? Martin pulled out a statement. As of yesterday's market close, the trust is valued at $127 million. The office went silent, except for the distant sound of traffic outside. Sarah couldn't breathe, couldn't think. $127 million, she whispered. Rose was patient. She held those tech stocks through crashes and recoveries. She diversified into real estate, bonds, international markets. What started as $30,000 in 1990 grew exponentially, and she lived on Social Security and your grandfather's pension, touching none of it. Every dividend got reinvested, every gain compounded. Why didn't she use any of it? She could have helped people, could have lived differently. I asked her that many times. She always said the same thing. I'm building something for Sarah. She'll know what to do with it when she's ready. I'm just keeping it safe. Until then, Martin leaned forward. She also made specific provisions. The trust includes instructions for how you should receive the money. Not all at once. She worried that would be overwhelming. Instead, you get $5 million immediately upon activation. Then $10 million per year for 5 years. Then the remainder in a lump sum. Why spread it out? To give you time to adjust, to learn how to manage wealth. Gradually, to make mistakes with 5 million instead of 100 million. He smiled. Rose thought of everything. Sarah's eyes burned. I'm getting evicted in 3 days. I know, Rose anticipated you'd face hardship. That's why the trust includes emergency provisions. He pulled out a checkbook. 1. I can release up to $100. 00 before the trust activates for genuine emergencies. Is $100,000 enough to solve your immediate problems? Sarah laughed, the sound bordering on hysterical. Yes, that's enough. Martin wrote the check and handed it to her. There are conditions. You need to deposit this in an account only you can access. You cannot tell anyone where the money came from until after the trust activates. And you need to meet with our financial advisor, Rachel Cohn, within 1 week to start planning for what comes next. Sarah took the check with shaking hands. $100,000 just like that. An emergency provision from a grandmother who died 18 months ago, but still managed to save her. I don't understand, Sarah said, her voice breaking. Why me? Why not my mother or Jessica? They're more successful. Stable. Martin shook his head. Rose watched all of you carefully. Your mother chased status her whole life and never found satisfaction. Jessica equates worth with net worth and treats people accordingly. But you, Sarah, you worked yourself to exhaustion and stayed kind. You lost a child and didn't become bitter. You struggled and never blamed others for your circumstances. That's who Rose wanted to give this to. Someone who'd use it to build something good, not just to make themselves look important. I don't know how to be rich. Neither did Rose at first, but she figured it out, and so will you. He handed her a business card. This is Rachel Chen, our wealth manager. Call her tomorrow. She'll help you understand what you have and how to protect it. And Sarah, congratulations. Your grandmother would be proud of you. Sarah left the office in a daze. The check was in her wallet, burning a hole through the leather. $100,000. She'd never seen that many zeros attached to her name. She walked past the bus stop and kept walking, needing to move, needing to process. Her shift at the diner started in 20 minutes. Sarah Mitchell had a choice. She could go to work, or she could call in sick, and she wouldn't starve. Either way, she went to work because that's who she was, because not showing up would leave them short-staffed, because routine felt safer than the spinning chaos of everything that had just happened. But smiled at customers who didn't see her. Sarah felt something shifting inside. She wasn't doing this because she had to anymore. She was doing it because she chose to. And so at 9:00 p.m, when her shift ended, Sarah took the bus home and climbed the 4 flights to her studio apartment. The dresser stood against the wall, exactly where she'd left it. But now she knew its secret. Now she understood why Rose had given it to her. Not as furniture, but as a test, a question she hadn't known she was answering. With every move, every eviction, every time, she refused to give up on it. Sarah pulled out her phone and opened her banking app. The check Martin gave her wouldn't clear until tomorrow, but she had $127 in checking. Enough to eat, enough to get to work, enough for now. She texted Kevin, the landlord's son. "I'll have rent by Friday. All of it, plus what I owe from last month." His response was immediate. "Sure you will." She smiled and set the phone aside. By Friday, she'd have more than rent money. By Friday, everything would change. But tonight, Sarah Mitchell went to bed in her sagging futon in her small apartment, surrounded by packing boxes and that ugly dresser everyone told her to throw away. And for the first time in longer than she could remember, she slept soundly because her grandmother had been right. The most valuable things weren't always the ones that shine. Sometimes they were hidden in plain sight. For someone patient enough to look deeper. Sarah deposited the check the next morning before her shift. The bank teller's eyes widened slightly when she saw the amount. But she processed it without comment. "It'll take 3 business days to clear." "That's fine." 3 days. Sarah could wait 3 days. She'd waited years. She called Rachel Chen from the bakery's back room during her break. Rachel's voice was warm and professional. "Sarah, I've been hoping to hear from you.
Martin filled me in on your situation.
How are you feeling?" "Overwhelmed." "That's normal. Can you come in tomorrow?" "We need to start planning." They scheduled a meeting for Thursday afternoon. Sarah hung up and went back to kneading dough, her hands working the familiar motions, while her mind spun with unfamiliar possibilities. Friday morning, the check cleared. Sarah paid her landlord in cash $2,800 a quart for current and past rent. Kevin counted it twice, looking annoyed that she'd actually come through. "Where'd you get this kind of money?" "Tax refund." Sarah lied smoothly, plus some overtime. She paid her utilities next, then her phone bill. Then she went to the grocery store and bought food without checking prices, without calculating every item. She bought fresh vegetables and good bread and the expensive coffee she'd been pretending not to want for 3 years. At the checkout, the total came to $143. Sarah didn't flinch. The cashier handed her the receipt, and Sarah walked out feeling lighter than she had in years. That afternoon, she met with Rachel Chen. Rachel's office was smaller than Martin's, filled with financial charts and computer screens showing markets in real time. Rachel herself was younger than Sarah expected, maybe 40, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. Let's talk about what you have and what it means. Rachel pulled up a spreadsheet. Your trust contains approximately $1 to $27 million in mixed assets, stocks, bonds, real estate holdings, and cash equivalents. The portfolio is conservative for someone with this much wealth. Rose prioritized stability over aggressive growth. Sarah stared at the numbers on screen. This is real, very real. And here's what you need to understand. Immediately, this money makes you a target. Once word gets out, and it will get out, people will come looking for handouts, investments, loans. Your family will have opinions. Strangers will have pitches. You need protection. What kind of protection? Legal, financial, and personal. Martin is handling the legal side. I'll handle your investments and financial planning. But you need to be smart about disclosure. Tell no one until you've built your team and your strategies. Rose was right to keep this secret. You should too, at least for now. They spent 3 hours going over projections, tax implications, and investment strategies. By the end, Sarah's head pounded, but she understood the basics. She was about to be wealthier than she'd ever imagined, and that wealth came with responsibilities she'd never prepared for. I need to quit my jobs. Don't I? Sarah asked as the meeting wrapped up. Financially, yes, but emotionally, that's up to you. Some people need the routine. Others find it liberating to walk away. What do you think you need? About Patricia and Thomas, who'd become something like friends. She thought about Marion's diner, about the regular customers she recognized, the rhythm of the work. And she thought about sleeping more than 4 hours a night, about not having to choose between electricity and food, about having time to figure out who she was when she wasn't exhausted. I think I need to walk away. Then do it carefully. Give notice. Don't burn bridges. You might want those connections later, even if you don't think so now. Sarah gave her 2 weeks' notice at both jobs the next day. Patricia at the bakery was disappointed but understanding. I hope it's good. The diner was harder. Marion herself, the 70-year-old owner who'd given Sarah a shot when no one else would, pulled her aside. You're not in trouble, are you? You seem different lately. I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. I have an opportunity I need to take. Marion studied her with eyes that had seen everything. Good. You've got more in you than slinging coffee. Don't let anyone tell you different. The 2 weeks passed in a blur and started preparing for a life she couldn't quite imagine yet. She moved out of the studio apartment into a modest 2-bedroom in a better neighborhood. Nothing fancy. She wasn't ready for that yet, but clean, safe, with a working heater, and no mold in the bathroom. She furnished it simply. A proper bed, a couch that didn't sag, a dining table with actual chairs, and in her bedroom, against the far wall where she could see it, every morning when she woke up, she placed her grandmother's dresser. It looked out of place in the new apartment, too old, too ornate for the modern space. But Sarah didn't care. She'd kept it through evictions and mockery and pressure from everyone who thought they knew better. She'd kept it because Rose asked her to. And Rose had been right to ask. 6 months passed. Sarah spent the time learning, preparing, becoming someone who could handle what was coming. She read books on finance and investing. She met with Martin monthly to discuss trust management. She worked with Rachel to understand her upcoming responsibilities, and she stayed quiet, told no one. When Jessica texted asking how Sarah's latest crisis was going, Sarah replied, "Actually, things are looking up." Her mother called once briefly asking if Sarah needed money. "I'm fine, Mom. Are you?" Because Jessica said, "You were about to be homeless again. That was 6 months ago. I got a new job. Things are better now." "What kind of job?" "Office work. It's boring, but it pays well." The lie came easily, and it was necessary, because Rose's deadline was approaching the 2nd anniversary of her death. And once that trust activated, everything would change. The week before the anniversary, Martin called. "We need to meet. There's something Rose left for you." They met in his office again. Martin handed Sarah a sealed envelope with her name written in Rose's handwriting. She recorded a video message too. "Would you like to watch it?" Sarah nodded, not trusting her voice. Martin set up a laptop and pressed play. The screen showed Rose in her living room, the one Sarah had visited countless times. She looked frailer than Sarah remembered. Her skin papery, her hands shaking slightly, but her eyes were bright and sharp. "Hello, my sweet girl." Rose's voice came through the speakers, and Sarah's eyes immediately filled with tears. "If you're watching this, you've found everything. The dresser, the portfolio, Martin, Rachel. You've done exactly what I hoped you'd do. You've held on when everyone told you to let go. You've survived when survival seemed impossible. And now you're about to inherit more money than you know what to do with." Rose smiled. That familiar expression Sarah had loved since childhood. "I want to tell you why I did this, why I hid it, why I made you struggle when I could have helped." It seems cruel, doesn't it? And maybe it was, but I watched what money did to others. I watched people become smaller, meaner, more afraid. and I didn't want that for you. I wanted you to know who you were when you had nothing, because that's who you really are. The kindness you showed when you were exhausted, that's real. The dignity you maintained when others looked down on you, that's real. The love you gave Emma, even in grief, that's real.
Money didn't create any of that you did.
Rose leaned forward slightly as if she could see Sarah through the camera. Now you're going to have more money than most people dream of. And people will tell you it will solve everything. It won't. It'll solve financial problems. Yes, you'll never worry about rent or food or medical bills again. But it won't fill the hole Emma left. It won't make your family suddenly respect you. It won't guarantee happiness. What it will do is give you freedom. Freedom to choose. Freedom to build. Freedom to become whoever you want to be without survival determining every decision. Use that freedom wisely. A few pieces of advice from an old woman who made plenty of mistakes. First, don't tell everyone at once. Take your time. Let them wonder how you're suddenly doing better. Let them reveal themselves through their reactions when they do find out. Second, don't feel guilty about having money. You didn't steal it. You didn't inherit it through luck. You earned it by being exactly who you are, by surviving, by keeping that dresser, even when it seemed ridiculous. Third, remember where you came from. Remember the people who were kind, but they didn't have to. Help them if you can. But don't let anyone make you feel obligated to fix every problem in the world. You can't save everyone. You can only save yourself and maybe a few others along the way. Finally, live, Sarah. Really live. Not like I did, hiding away and keeping secrets. Be bold. Be generous. Be exactly who you've always been, just with better resources to do it with. Rose's expression softened. I love you. I always have. From the moment you were born, I saw something special in you. Something rare. And I wanted to give you the gift your mother and sister never appreciated. The gift of knowing you're enough, just as you are. The money is yours. Do with it what you will. Build something beautiful or burn it all on experiences. I don't care. Hey, it's yours. Goodbye, my sweet girl. I'll be watching from wherever I end up. And I'm so proud of you. The video ended. Sarah sat in Martin's office and cried. Not sad tears exactly. Something more complex. Grief and gratitude and overwhelming love for a grandmother who'd seen her clearly and loved what she saw. Martin waited until she composed herself, then handed her a tissue. She recorded that 3 weeks before she died. She was very clear that you should see it right before the trust activated. When do I get access? Midnight tomorrow. The second anniversary of her death. Exactly as she specified. By morning, you'll have $5 million in an account Rachel set up for you. The rest comes according to the schedule we discussed. Sarah nodded, unable to speak. One more thing. Martin pulled out a final document. Rose left instructions for your family. She wanted me to contact them after you received your first distribution to inform them that you've inherited her estate. She figured it was better coming from an attorney than from you directly. They're going to lose their minds, probably. Rose anticipated that, too. She left a letter for your mother, though I don't have permission to tell you what it says. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. And thought about what tomorrow would bring. About money beyond measure. About freedom she'd never imagined. About her grandmother, who'd loved her enough to make her struggle before giving her wings. At midnight, her phone buzzed with a notification from her bank. Sarah opened the app with trembling hands. There in her checking account that had held $1. $247 yesterday was a new balance, $5,893.17. Sarah stared at the number until her eyes watered. Just the first distribution. Just the beginning. She got out of bed and walked to the dresser. In the darkness, it looked like any old piece of furniture, but Sarah ran her hand across the top, feeling the worn wood, and whispered, "Thank you, Grandma, for seeing me, for believing in me, for giving me this gift." The dresser didn't answer, but Sarah felt just for a moment like Rose was there in the room with her, smiling, proud, telling her it was time to build the life she deserved. Sarah waited 3 days before telling anyone. 3 days to get used to looking at her bank balance. 3 days to meet with Rachel and start making plans. 3 days to simply sit with the reality that everything had changed. On the 4th day, Martin called. "I've sent letters to your mother and sister as Rose requested. They'll receive them today." "What do the letters say?" "That Rose left her estate to you. That the estate is substantial. That you are not under any obligation to share. And that any attempts to contest or pressure, you will be met with legal action." Sarah's stomach churned. "They're going to call me." Yes. Rose anticipated that too. She left some advice in her notes. She said, "Let them react. Don't defend yourself. Don't justify. Simply state the facts and set your boundaries. People who truly love you will come around. Eventually, those who don't will reveal themselves." "What if they all reveal themselves as terrible?" Martin's voice was gentle. "Then you'll know who you're dealing with. Knowledge is valuable, even when it hurts." The call started that afternoon. First, Jessica, her voice shrill with disbelief. "Mom just got a letter from Grandma Rose's attorney saying, 'You inherited her estate.'" "What estate?" Grandma had nothing. Apparently, she had more than we knew. "How much more?" "Enough." "Enough, Sarah. That's not an answer." "How much are we talking about?" "6 figures." 7. Sarah took a breath. "Jessica." "Me. And I'm not required to discuss the details. This is insane. We're family. We should share. Like you've shared with me." and you offered to let me crash on your couch if I got rid of the dresser. Jessica's voice turned cold. That dresser was ugly and you know it. You only kept it to be stubborn. I kept it because Grandma gave it to me. Because it mattered. And guess what, Jessica? She hid her will inside it. The dresser you wanted me to throw away contained the documents that gave me everything. There was silence on the line. Then you're lying, I'm not. The dresser had a hidden compartment. Grandma put papers in it. Papers that changed my life. This isn't fair. Grandma should have split her estate equally among all of us. You're being selfish. I'm being exactly what Grandma wanted me to be. Someone who doesn't owe you anything. Sarah hung up. Her mother called 30 minutes later. The conversation was shorter and sharper. Rose always did favor you. I should have known. She didn't favor me, Mom. She saw me. There's a difference. Well, I hope you're happy. You've torn this family apart. No, Mom. I just inherited what Grandma wanted me to have. If that tears the family apart, maybe the family wasn't very strong to begin with. Her mother hung up without saying goodbye. Sarah sat in her apartment and felt nothing. No guilt. No anger. Just a kind of sad certainty that Rose had been right about everything. About her family's reactions. About their entitlement. About the fact that they'd never seen her as anything but a failure until she had something they wanted. Over the following weeks, Jessica called repeatedly, sometimes angry, demanding her fair share, sometimes crying, claiming family hardship. Once she threatened legal action, though Martin assured Sarah there was no case. Her mother went silent after the first call, but Sarah heard, through family channels, that she was telling everyone Sarah had stolen Rose's money through manipulation. And Sarah started building her life. She bought a house, not a mansion. She wasn't ready for that. But a real home, with 3 bedrooms and a yard, a place where she could breathe. She furnished it carefully, mixing new pieces with items she loved. And in her bedroom, she placed the dresser in a spot of honor. She established the Emma Rose Foundation in her daughter's and grandmother's names, a charity focused on helping single mothers with emergency housing and medical expenses. She funded it with $10 million from her first distribution and set up systems to make sure the money reached people who actually needed it. She started painting again, a hobby she'd abandoned years ago, when time became a luxury she couldn't afford. Her house's 3rd bedroom became an art studio filled with canvases and light. She made friends. Real ones, not people who wanted something from her. Women she met at a local coffee shop, at art classes, at the library. People who knew her as Sarah. Period. Not Sarah, who inherited millions. And she thought about Rose, about her grandmother's patience, about the test Sarah hadn't known she was taking, about surviving not just poverty, but the loss of dignity that came with it, about keeping that dresser, not because it was valuable, but because it was hers.
6 months after the first distribution, Sarah received second $10 million.
She invested half, donated $3 million to the foundation, and used the rest to travel.
Not luxuriously. She still to fly first class,
but freely. France and Spain, places Rose had always talked about visiting, but never had. In Paris, sitting in a cafe near the Louvre, Sarah finally felt it. The full weight of Rose's gift. Not the money that was just tools, but the freedom, the ability to choose her own path, the certainty that she was enough, that she'd always been enough, even when she had nothing. She pulled out her phone and looked at her last text from Jessica. It had come a week ago. You've changed. Money turned you into someone else. Sarah typed a response. No, money. Let me become who I always was, underneath the exhaustion. That's the difference. She never sent it. Jessica wouldn't understand anyway. Studio. It was of the dresser, not as it looked now, polished and cared for, but as it had looked in her various apartments, scarred and ugly, and taking up too much space. The most valuable thing she'd ever owned. Before anyone knew, its secret. Her phone rang. An unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Sarah, this is Kevin, your old landlord's son. Sarah's hand tightened on the phone. What do you want? I heard people are saying, is it true about the inheritance? What people are saying doesn't matter. But if it is true, I wanted to apologize for how I treated you. I was a jerk about the dresser and the evictions and everything. I'm sorry. Sarah was quiet for a long moment. Are you apologizing because you mean it? Or because you heard I have money now? Kevin hesitated, honestly, both. I'm sorry either way, but yeah. Hearing about the money made me think about it more. Made me realize I was wrong, at least you're honest. Sarah surprised herself by smiling. Apology accepted. No, okay. Maybe that crossed my mind, but mostly I just wanted to say I was wrong. You kept that ugly dresser through everything, and now I know why. You knew it was worth something. No, Sarah said softly. I kept it because my grandmother gave it to me. Because it mattered to her, so it mattered to me. The fact that it was hiding a fortune was just proof that love is worth more than money. That believing in someone is worth more than any inheritance. I don't understand. I know. That's okay. Sarah hung up. She went back to her painting. Making it glow from within, because that's what it had always done, really. It had glowed with Rose's love, with the promise that someone saw Sarah clearly and valued what they saw. The money was extraordinary. The freedom it brought was extraordinary. But the real gift that had been Rose's faith, her belief that Sarah would keep that dresser, that she'd survive long enough to find its secret, that she'd be strong enough and wise enough to handle what came after. Sarah had proven Rose right. And now, standing in her studio in her house, painting a portrait of an ugly old dresser that everyone had told her to throw away, Sarah finally understood what her grandmother had been trying to teach her all along. Worth isn't about what shines, it's about what lasts. It's about what you keep when keeping it seems foolish. It's about surviving and staying kind and believing that somewhere someone sees you for who you really are. The dresser had held Rose's dreams once, then Sarah's, and now it held the truth. They'd both always known. The most valuable things aren't always the ones that shine. Sometimes they're hidden in plain sight. Sometimes they're old and scarred and take up too much space. Sometimes they're exactly what everyone tells you to get rid of. And sometimes, if you're patient enough and stubborn enough, brave enough to keep them anyway, they save your life. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next.